Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here. I am here with two really awesome studio monitors. The first one that's sitting on top here, that is the iLoud MTM monitors. Those go for $399 US each. And sitting below those are the Eikon EK8NF monitors. Those go for $369 each. Now, the reason I'm pairing these two together is because the iLoud MTM, and I've got a ton of videos on these, no matter what I compare them to, despite their size, they always really excel at being a studio monitor. It is just amazing for their small size, but it is an MTM design, which stands for mid-woofer tweeter mid-woofer. This is the first one that gives the MTMs a run for its money, and it's a little bit less money. Now, let me give you a little bit of history, because we already know about the iLouds, but the Eikons may not be known for people in the United States or the Western Hemisphere, because these are European, and basically it's going to be known with European people, but not so much US. And they're up and coming. Now, let me give you a little bit of background on Eikons. The parent company of Eikon is Proel. They're based in Italy. Proel also is the parent company to Dexibell, which makes excellent keyboards. And what I found very interesting about that is iLoud is also Italian based. So we're talking about Italian craftsmanship for both the iLouds and the Eikons. So this is a rather unique video, because you're not going to find this kind of coverage anywhere else. So before I go out and do samples of one A versus B, let me just start out with a real quick. I've got a Beat Buddy here, so I'm going to start out with that. We're going to start out with the iLouds. Now we're going to switch over to the Eikons. Now, what I've noticed, we're back to the iLouds again. What I've noticed between the two, all right, they're very close. And basically, this iLoud sounds so good with these drums, but when you switch over the Eikons, I'm hearing more of the bass in the bass drums, which is really cool. Now, let me shut this off for a second. All right, the iLouds and the Eikons are studio monitors that are just both to die for. I would be very happy using either one of these, but the iLouds are using the MTM speaker design, which is mid-woofer, tweeter, mid-woofer. Now, when it comes down to physics, you've got two 3.5-inch woofers here, but you have an 8-inch woofer on both of these. 8 inches can move a lot more air than 3.5 inches, even if you have two of them. So, regardless of how good it sounds, and these sound good, you are definitely going to hear the bass with either of these. But physics is physics. You got an 8-inch woofer here that can definitely move a lot more air than the two 3.5-inch drivers on these. So while either one of these are good for monitoring, doing studio mixes and all that kind of stuff, which is great, I could mix very well with either one of these. But let's say I'm going to have a party. If I'm going to move these from my studio to my living room or my family room and have a party, I'm going to choose these. And the reason is I can get a little bit louder, okay, that's not the case, but the case is, since this moves so much air, you're going to feel the bass with these. You can't do that with these. You can hear the bass with the iLouds, and it's so impressive that it can produce such bass with this small cabinet. But with the Eikons, you can actually feel the bass in your chest cavity. That is so cool. So I would take these and use these at a party anytime. And let's go into the back panel just briefly. The iLouds are digital processing. So basically everything happens digitally. So you have a volume control, which I don't see what it really does, because no matter what you do with it, it doesn't really change much of anything, but it is there. So I'm telling you that it has a volume control. It has the inputs. It has other settings for low frequency switch. You can boost or cut the low frequency, high frequency cut boost, and then you have various positions, including a desk. So if you're having these on a desk as opposed to a wall or whatever, you can set those settings there as well. And then you have sensitivity settings for input, whether you have a low sensitivity or high. But the bottom line is you've got all these controls that can control everything. The back panel on the Eikons, you got the volume control, you've got the inputs, you got the high frequency cut and boost, and the last thing for both of these is warranty. It is a 2-year warranty for each of these. But with Eikons, if you go ahead and register online within, 30 days of purchase or so, you get an extra 2 years for a total of 4 years. How cool is that? All right, now, before I get into sound samples, I just want to point out a major difference between the two of these. Basically, it's digital processing for the iLouds. It's analog processing for the Eikons. But with the MTM design, with this, the dispersion level here is very narrow. And that's why they include the ARC microphone adjustment here. So you're going to take these and you're going to hold that ARC microphone, or at least mount it to where your ears are going to be, and press the calibrate button on each, and it's going to calibrate this perfectly for your room and your ears and everything for where you are at that time of calibration. The whole thing with the narrow dispersion here is, if I'm going to move to the right, or if I'm going to move to the left, or if I'm going to stand up and move around or bend down, it's not going to be the same. That's the whole thing. They are perfect for when you are standing still in that same position where you use the calibration from. That is perfect for the iLouds. But when you get to the Eikons, they don't need that calibration. They're more of a standard analog speaker design. I can get up, I can move around, I can move to the left, I can move to the right, I can sit down, I can do whatever I want, and the dispersion level is so much wider that it doesn't matter. Now, let's get into some samples. What I have here, I've got a Nord Piano 5, which has excellent pianos, where we're going to try some of those out. I also have a Beat Buddy over here, which is excellent for drums. Let's just start out with the Beat Buddy, and we're going to start out with the iLouds. Let's go over to the Eikons. They're very close, but when I get to the Eikons, it seems like I can feel or hear the bass of the bass drums much more than I can with the iLouds. try it again. iLoud. Eikon. All right, now let's go over to piano, which is one of the other instruments that is so hard to reproduce accurately with speakers. So let's start out with the Nord has a sample here called the Royal Grand 3D, which is one of their better samples. Let's try this. Let's try the same passage with the Eikons. Now, what I noticed with both of those, let's go back to the iLouds, and with the lower end, okay, you've heard that. Let's try it again with the Eikons. Seems to me that the Eikons produce a much better level of bass, at least to my ears. Now, it's going to be subjective. Some of you might like the iLoud sound better. Some of you might like the Eikon sound better. As far as I'm concerned, I love them both, but I think the Eikons reproduce the bass or lower end much more accurately, and it makes sense because 8 inches of woofer can drive a lot more air than 2 3.5-inch woofers can. So let's try another thing. And again, drums and piano are the two things that are really hard to reproduce accurately with any speaker or monitor. So let's try using the Beat Buddy some of the other things that are on here. Let's try this. Okay, so we got bass drum and we've got the hi-hats and all that. This is what it sounds like with the iLouds. Try it now with the Eikons. Now, let's go back on the iLouds. Focus on the cymbal. Try it again with the Eikons. Now, with both of these, I've got each one of these set to basically flat. We're not enhancing or taking away from anything. All the buttons and switches on basically both of these are set to flat. That way it is an honest comparison of both of these. So let's try a couple of other things here. Let's go back to the Beat Buddy and let's try a couple of other things. That's the iLouds. Now we've got the Eikons. Let's stop that. So again, what I've noticed between the two, they both sound so close to each other, but the Eikons, I've got more bass to the bass drum, which I feel is more accurate. But given everything that there is between the two of these, I can live with either one. Now, again, I said piano is one of the other two things that's hard to reproduce accurately with studio monitors. So let me go into, this is a combination of a Steinway Model D and a Bosendorfer Imperial 290. And those are two of the best pianos in the world. I've got a blend of both of them here. So let's see. This is on the iLouds, by the way. And let's try that with the Eikons. They're both really, really, really good. But I think, as far as what I'm hearing, the Eikons are a little bit richer on the lower end. And I really like the lower end to stand out because I think that separates this from other pianos. So let's try a couple of other things with the same thing. Over here on the top end. Eikons. iLouds. Eikons. And again, the two are so close to each other, but I think with the Eikons, that lower end is so much more accurate. That is something that I would take into consideration in choosing between the two. For me personally, I think I would like the Eikons better in that respect. But you have to, there's so many different variables for both of those. Let's go into a few more sounds. And I picked the Nord Piano 5 because it excels at a lot of these sounds. That's a Wurlitzer, and that's the iLouds. Let's try the same thing with the Eikons. All right, let's try some chimes. This is the iLoud. And this is the Eikons. Here's a metallophone. Let's try that. And the Eikons. How about a glockenspiel? And first with the iLouds. And the Eikons. All right, let's try some church bells first with the iLouds. Try the same thing with the icons. Now here's a marimba with the iLouds. And the icons. Again, I like the bass on the icons. Both are great. I could use either, but I really, really like the bass on the icons. Now let's try a 12-string guitar on the iLouds first. Nice. Try the same thing with the icons. Also very nice. All right, let's try a nylon guitar. And this is going to be on the iLouds. Let's try the same thing with the icons. All right, let's try a cathedral organ with the iLouds. Let's try the same thing with the icons. Very impressive, both of those. And let's go back to the Beat Buddy and try another drum sample or so. This is a voice beatbox, and this is on the iLouds. Try it with the icons. Again, the bass is more pronounced with the icons. And let's try it with the iLouds for some dance music. And over to the icons. So cool. So I have a lot of fun producing these kind of videos because I really enjoy these A-B comparisons. But basically the bottom line is whether you go with the iLoud or the Eikon, you cannot make a mistake in choosing either one of these. They are both so cool. You can mix with either one of these. The advantage of the Eikons is the driver size. We can move a lot more air with those 8-inch woofers than we can with a pair of 3.5-inch woofers, or what they call mid woofers. So the bottom line is I'm happy with either one of these. If you are pressed for space, the iLouds are the way to go. But if you're not, I would probably go with the Eikons. But again, that is a personal preference thing. But I have a use for studio monitors that I could also use to double as party monitors and move them out to my living room or my family room and throw a party where you're going to actually feel the bass. Can't do that with these. And the dispersion level is so narrow with these. It's not suited for a party. It's more suited for mixing. When you're using the Eikons, yes, you can mix with it too. You can use it for parties. You can use all kinds of things. So it's really a matter of personal preference. And I can't think of a case where personal preference is so much more important than it is in this case. So also check out the description below if you're looking to buy either one of these. I've got some money saving tips down below. You just go ahead and check those out and you can get either one of these discounted. Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.